Seri_bot, said, Seri_bot has joined Saribo ban.
Ohayou gozaimashita. Konnichiwa itakamba wa watashi no name, Dark Market desu. Irashaimase.
Or in other words, greetings and salutations, lords, ladies, and gender-fluid friends of any persuasion. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Welcome to Gamersledge. I'm one of your hosts, Mark, and joining me is Matt. Hi, Matt.
Hello there, wonderful internet peoples.
And also joining us is the illustrious Dave.
I totally thought you ditched us to play games.
A fair consideration considering what just came out. But no, I will say, like, all my willpower to actually come do this instead of playing more Baldur's Gate 3. But we'll get to that later.
I'll be honest, I was shocked that you wanted to do this.
Well, it hasn't happened. I thought we hadn't done it for 2 months, but it turns out we just haven't done it for a month. Because we did have one E3 weekend, and we went through all the trailers up until that point, but then there were still like 4 more days of trailers that we never went through. But that's okay. We already hit the highlights by then.
Does that change anything? Are you going to bail on us now?
No.
Is that what you're trying to say?
No, not at all. Not at all. I just thought we hadn't done the podcast. For being a month, it seems like there was a lot that happened in this last month.
Yeah.
Like, a lot. Especially as I was going through and making my list of what I watched and play. I'm like, wow, Dave is going to say time compression again. Because it's his favorite catchphrase regarding me.
Hey, if the time compression fits.
Technically, it's Matt that always says that, but I agree.
I was wondering if he was going to correct that or not.
Oh yeah,
I was also wondering.
every chance I get, you know that.
Yeah. What's up, Jimmy Julius? Welcome in. Just a quick reminder: we do not have the TTS on tonight. We have so much to get through. Thank you for the check-in. Well, let's start at the top, which will probably take the entire podcast at this point, it seems to me. I could be wrong, but we'll see. Oh, you know what? I don't have... Oh, that's really interesting.
What?
Twitch introduced a new overlay feature, and I have it on the normal stream, but I had forgotten to copy over the URL over to here, and all it represents is the sounds, because the alerts are still going off on the stream, but I don't hear anything because there's no sound because I don't have the overlay. That's super interesting. See, because you watch here in a second, look, there's a fountain of explosion. Yep. That's happening on Twitch natively, not in my stream. When I have the overlay on, it happens in my stream also, I guess is the best way to say it. So I just noticed that.
On the stream regardless.
It's going on the stream. Yeah, that's super interesting. But it's not making... Well, it might be making the sound. I don't have the stream up. So I don't know if it's actually making a sound when it does it. That's kind of interesting. Anyways, sorry for the quick derailment. Let's go around the room and talk about what... no sound is what Jimmy Julius says. Okay, so that's interesting to know. Okay, great. Thank you, Jimmy. So the short form, we're going to talk about the stuff that we've been watching and playing or reading since last we met.
Well, hold on a second. Do we need to make sounds when stuff happens? Do you need to tell me when there's a fireworks going off and I go?
I mean, if you were actually watching the stream,
it's a little delayed for me if I watch it. So you gotta tell me since I don't want to do it wrong. I'm just trying to help you.
I appreciate it. I appreciate it. We'll give it a go. Just pull up the stream and give it your best go, because I think you making the sound after the fact is actually still very entertaining, where no one will understand why Dave's devolving as we do the podcast.
I think it'd almost be funnier if you just yell out random things for me to do.
Bark like a dog.
Yeah.
Wow, that is the least emphatic woof I've ever heard in my life.
Look, in a couple weeks, but this is just going to be, devolving into ice cream's so good. Pop, 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 pop.
God, please.
That's what's going to make you money.
Stop. God.
Oh, it's bad that I actually got that reference. He didn't say sick dog. Chat said you did a fine approximation of a sick dog. That's hilarious.
It's late. It's Friday. The dog's mellow.
Well, let's start with Matt.
Okay. Well, Matt's got a fairly concise list, and a lot of it's stuff that he said before, so this shouldn't take too long. So I have finished all the available Dresden Files content that is out there. I even rewatched a few episodes of the old TV show that lasted for half a season. Yeah, not even close. So got that all done. There's still going to be 5 more books, but they're not written yet, so I'll break for a while. since I'm done with that, I started Altered Carbon. I'm like 10 chapters in, so working on that one now. I haven't ever read it, saw the show, but yeah, haven't read the book, so going through that.
You've read enough to be mad at the TV show, though, right?
What?
You've read enough to be mad at the TV show?
Well, I've read enough. I'm still to the point where stuff hasn't significantly diverged. It doesn't feel like, except for the the thing we mentioned before. But they still haven't really gotten into what the Envoy Corps was in the books. Really, it's obvious that it's different than it was in the show, but they haven't really gotten into what it was yet. So to make it like really hit home, and maybe they don't, and that's the difference. Whereas they went into it in gory detail in the show. But yeah, it's similar enough. I miss the smarmy hotel because I like the smarmy hotel, but
the hotel was better on the show. That's the only thing.
Yeah, I agree.
They did a great job with the hotel change.
Yeah. But otherwise, it's similar enough that it doesn't feel like it's a completely different story yet. Just that part of his backstory, and then trying to figure out how he got from that to where he was at the beginning, leading to where he is in the story now. Right? How did he go from Envoy to the prologue chapter? That part, that transition doesn't quite make sense at the moment yet, but it does seem like it was common for them to go rogue based on things he's relayed so far. So anyway, so then on to watching. Do the boring stuff first. Well, not boring stuff, but stuff I've done before. In the final season of Better Call Saul, which broke the pattern with the first episode, so I'm intrigued what that means. I'm assuming it means something because everything means something. Also, the actor who played Don Hector today, we found out passed away. So, if anyone hadn't seen that yet. And then I did start Strange New Worlds. I'm about 4 episodes in.
Yes.
It's weird because sometimes it's almost too old school, and then sometimes it's almost too new. But it really likes just riding that line. The only thing about it.
What?
Sorry, go ahead.
I said, but it's always fun, and that's what about that show.
Yeah, it is. Fun. And the good characters. Nurse Chapel just drive me a little bit nuts because that is such a dissident, dissonance to the old school Nurse Chapel in my mind. Those two characters don't line up at all.
So just give it time.
Yes. And like I said, I'm still early in season 1. So,
I just found out that she was a Kiwi. I totally thought she was an American actress. And she is
the accent off well.
Hard in the paint with the Kiwi accent. It so threw me off watching her in an interview. My brain, I just took 7 steps back because I did not know that she was not American, and she does a good accent. Right.
I really like this doctor. I like the doctor character.
So I really thought that the doctor wasn't was a new character, and I realized he's in 2 episodes of the original series.
Really?
He is.
Cool.
So he is in 2 episodes. Yep, I didn't realize it either, and then I kind of fell down a rabbit hole looking about it. I'm like, oh my god, he is in the original series. So
wow, that's cool. And then the I'm still not sure about this new helmsman, or this helms person. I don't know what the correct term is.
Ortega.
In the Navy they still call him a helmsman, but yeah, she's an interesting character. They almost she's almost like the hey, this Orville thing is really popular. We should make a character that would fit in on Orville and throw him into Star Trek. And
so I mean, since you're only four episodes in the first season, I would give the first season probably an 8.5 out of 10, being super critical about it, because they're still trying to find their rhythm.
Right.
By season 2, there's only 1 episode left, and this is already a 10 out of 10. And
oh wow,
man, you want to talk about the whiplash between the tonal episodes, the tones of the episodes. We had a crossover episode that was very much comedy. Then we had a war episode that was super dark and super emotional. And then we swang back to a musical episode, which, by the way, like any show that references Buffy the Vampire Slayer in it, win.
All right.
I think they managed to really pull it off, and I can't wait for you to get to those 3 episodes because, man,
I'm
Yeah,
definitely.
I have some catching up to do myself. I'm almost there.
I won't spoil anything, but I do think, like, when I heard the idea of a crossover with an animated show, I was like, they are A, swinging for the fences, so good for them, but B, this is either going to be work or it's going to be the worst awkward train wreck ever, and it might be my favorite Trek episode of all time.
Oh wow.
That's saying a bit. I think the last episode I watched was the one with the giant asteroid. I think that was the last in season 1.
Oh, okay. Oh, the one where Uhura is there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, she's there all the time, but
Well,
yes,
right, but I mean,
with
yeah.
her on the
Yes,
asteroid.
yes,
yeah,
yes,
yeah.
yes.
But yeah, that's I'm liking most of the cast. I think they're doing a really good job. It is a little bit weird seeing modern interpretations of characters set in that time period of Trek, right? It's just a little jarring every once in a while, like Ortega's. But overall, I'm digging it. The only thing that really, the external of the redesign of the Enterprise, I love. I love how the Enterprise looks externally. Inside, there can only be about 12 crew on this ship because everybody's quarters are huge.
Yep.
Kirk Pike's got a freaking fire pit in the middle of his quarters.
I will say the one thing that always throws me off is when somebody looks out the window and then they do the pull away shot to the front of the ship where you see it's one of the 2 like windowed areas. That window would have to be so large in their quarters that would be like 3 stories, and it takes me out of it every time. That's my only complaint for the entire flipping show is that you're right. It's like the in fact, I think they made fun of it in the crossover episode. I actually just now I'm remembering some verbiage that they made fun of this. I think you just pointed out, yeah.
And the other thing is the view screen on the bridge. I mean, the bridge, like, there's such a waste of space on the ship. It is ridiculous. I mean, I get it. The things were the shape and size they were in the original, the screen format and the soundstage and everything. And similarly here for the same reasons. But there is so much wasted space on that ship. No one would ever design a ship like
What's
short
up,
of like a
Mythical Ray?
luxury
Thank you.
yacht, It's just like,
Yeah.
it's insane. Then also watched the entirety of Secret Invasion. My 3-word review is fine but boring.
Good. Can I chime in on this? And that way I don't have to on mine.
Sure. Go ahead.
My 3-word review would be underwhelming, and why?
And I gotta wonder. I felt like this a few times, and it's a show about 2 people talking to each other.
Mm-hmm.
That's like the entirety of the show is 2 people talking to each other, and I have to wonder if it was a COVID side effect, right? Like they had a plan for the show, and then COVID hit, and then they had to film under COVID protocols, and it just ended up being a show where we switched from those 2 people talking to each other to these 2 people talking to each other to those 2 people talking to each other.
I really like. This is, in my opinion, it's the worst writing from Marvel we've seen, period. It did not do any justice to the comic books. It was a complete, like, in terms of building suspense, in my opinion, it was a complete flop. Like, there was no suspense to be had whatsoever. And the one major twist on it made, like, 0 sense in my mind. and I can't talk about it really because of spoilers, but why would Fury trust anyone, let alone somebody with that? And it's like, I get that it helps set up a piece for later, sure, but they could have been way more interesting in how they got from A to C.
Yeah.
So my take on it, where I was excited because, who is the master spy of of Marvel? It's Nick Fury.
Hi, Mark.
Okay. That's his job. Okay. I was hoping, after seeing what, they did on the Star Wars side with Andor, that was setting the bar for me. And admittedly, that was probably stupid on my part. But I was kind of hoping for this to be the Andor of, the MCU. And man, they dropped the ball. They had all the tools in there for that. They had a really good cast and everything. But they just, it was just ball drop after ball drop after ball drop. And they just, man, you could have had a compelling show with two people talking.
Sure.
You have Sam Jackson for that. You'll have Ben Mendelsohn for the, I could watch those two have conversations for an hour if they're they just, what a wasted opportunity.
Yeah.
The whole thing had a net effect of me liking Nick Fury less. And I think that's bad for them.
That's terrible.
Well, you spent the whole time wondering, well, at least I did, how are they going to get him to the Nick Fury that we've seen in the trailers for Marvels, right? Or has Marvels already happened in this timeline?
No, I think this is before
very
that.
sketch about what the timeline is here, but it was not what it needed to be. And I didn't hate it, but it was not good.
I'd give it a lot of people worked hard on it, and it was good to see some of the returning characters, but honestly, I'd probably give it a 5.5 out of 10.
That's generous.
Yeah. I'm hugging the 5 to 6 range somewhere.
I did
Emilia Clarke's character. I thought she did a good job with it.
Yes, she did a good job with it, but I feel like one of the main tenets of Marvel stories is that they do generally a good job of giving you something to care about. And because everyone was flip-flopping, so you never knew where their loyalties lied within the first 4 episodes of the show, I think you never were able to attach to anything except maybe Nick Fury. But even then, he was very unlikable almost the entire time. So it was I think that really hurt how the show went.
And also kind of dumb, which was also very not Fury-like.
Yeah, agreed. Very dumb.
Which was just that Fury would not have fallen for that.
Well, and when they say, they actually finally addressed it in the show, why don't you bring in any of the Avengers to help with this stuff? And he's like, no, man, I gotta do this by myself. Why?
Yeah. The whole point of the MCU, the whole entire thing that this was based on,
is because he couldn't do it by himself.
Right. Was Nick Fury realizing he needed to bring together people. Remember that whole decade?
Yeah.
Of people being excited that Nick Fury was showing up at the end of every movie? What happened?
I
I didn't forget about that. I know there's a lot of little things I forget about, but that seemed like a minor plot point that sticks in your head a bit.
Hold on just 1 second. One of my TVs is rebooting. I want to make sure it doesn't kick the stream because the broadcasting software was on that TV.
On the TV?
Yeah, Mark runs this operation on like 16 TVs in a room. They just turn some off apparently.
I don't know why. I don't know if it's the graphics card or if it's the TV itself, but this one TV reboots once a day.
Because it's tired.
It's not because it's tired. Okay, there we
Need
go.
a nap.
Yeah.
Okay, creepy Dave.
So yeah, I just think that this was a complete swing and a miss.
We talked too much about it. It's
Yeah.
basically
Yeah.
what happened. He should have just said, watch Secret Invasion, ugh, and then
Honestly, I don't know if there is any reason you needed to watch it. I really honestly don't
I
know.
mean, this is literally the first one that I'm like, no, Lexi doesn't have to watch this. It will have
yeah,
no bearing, like literally, unless you are a diehard Nick Fury fan, there is zero reason to watch this, because if the person at the end ever shows up in the MCU, they're gonna talk about it, or they won't, and no one will care, and they'll just assume, oh look, this is the next generation. Where'd you come from? I don't know. I don't care. We'll go from there.
Yep. The always, I do want to give credit. The best performance in the show, I can't remember her name, but the lady that the British Nick Fury lady,
Olivia
She
Colman.
rocked it. Yeah, Olivia Colman. Yeah, she rocked it. She did a great job.
She was a bright shining star in this pile of crud.
And it took me forever to remember where I knew her from, but it was the main thing I knew her from was Broadchurch. It
No,
just took me a while.
she's the queen from The Crown.
I've not watched The Crown. I mean, I know she's in a ton of stuff, so I mean, I just but that character was very similar in the sassiness and stuff to her character in Broadchurch, so that was the touch point for my brain.
Yes.
Okay, so then also keeping up on, I'm only watching one anime show this season, and it's Jujutsu Kaisen, and I guess they're calling it season 2. I would call it season -1. You had season 1, and then you had the movie 0, and now this is before the movie 0, so it's technically season -1, but was kind of offset by that fact because I didn't know it going in, and I didn't want to learn more new characters that have been referenced previously, but I didn't really want to care about, and then it got good, so now I care.
So I have a question. I have multiple questions. Number one,
Okay.
I know nothing about this. Summarize it up.
Okay.
I know it's very popular, but I don't know anything about it.
Yes. It's one of the big 3 new manga that are out there, the other 2 being Hell's Paradise and Chainsaw Man. And it is a group of powered individuals through what's called cursed energy, and basically they are jujitsu sorcerers that, and it's set in modern day, and so it's a school. So I should back up. So it's set in modern day. There's this whole secret society of jujitsu sorcerers that fight basically spooks, ghouls, monsters, things of the supernatural world that the normal people don't know about. You have to be powered with cursed energy or have a cursed energy item to even be able to see the spooks and ghouls and stuff. So lots of people are actually having like minor versions of these things, like sucking on their soul and riding around with them through life and stuff. And then there's the major ones that cause things like supernatural, like haunted houses and stuff like that, have, like a major entity living there. And so you have to go to the special school to learn how to be a sorcerer. And basically you only get recruited because somebody finds out that you've got this ability to see these things or affect these things. And then you get brought into the high school. And the one we follow is in Tokyo. And so it's, because it keeps jumping time periods, it's really kind of hard to put a solid plot on it. But effectively there's a big bad, right, who's trying to do big bad things. We don't entirely understand for what or why yet. And then there's the students, and one of them's a student at one point in the story, but he's also a teacher in another part of the story, and he's like one of the most powerful ones. He's got all the superpowers and stuff. And then it's just them going through it's a little bit Monster of the Weekish, but also the whole arc with the big bad going on. So, but again, because we keep on going back in time, the further forward in the story we go, it really makes it hard to explain.
Yeah, this may be a
Okay.
TikTok eventually of you trying to explain Jujutsu Kaisen. But my second
But
follow-up.
it's freaking cool, all right?
Yeah. I get it. You wouldn't waste your time otherwise, because Lord knows that was, 10 minutes of my life I'm never going to get back from listening to the description of it. But my question is, are you psyched that they are the next crossover for Fortnite?
Yes. Oh yes, I saw that. I am unfortunately going to be dropping some coin there, but yeah, they've got the season 1 characters, and I'm gonna forget their names because the only one of them that's been mentioned in forever is Gojo, and that's the only one whose name I'm gonna remember. Because then there's the other guy, and then the other guy, and then the other girl. Because it's been so long since their names have been mentioned, I don't even remember what they are anymore.
He's totally hooked.
Yeah, he's totally hooked.
Itadori, I think the MC of season 1, I think his name is Itadori.
Isn't that
But
Deku?
he maybe he ate a cursed finger, and that's why he's got powers.
It sounds perfectly reasonable. I know when I find a severed finger, I eat it.
And then the girl uses cursed tools to do it, and then the third student is from a long lineage of jujitsu sorcerers, so he summons other monsters to fight the monsters. So
So it's Pokemon.
and then Gojo is basically just broken and God and can do whatever he wants whenever he wants, basically.
So it's Ash from Pokemon,
Yeah, kinda.
since he's the one in the coma.
Yeah, basically, have you seen the videos where proving that Ash is actually a Pokemon because like he can jump across the Grand Canyon in a leap, and it's kind of funny when you see it. It's crazy. All right, so yeah, JJK, awesome, and season 1 or season 2 / -1 might be a little off-putting at first, but it gets good real quick. So yeah, if you liked the movie and or season 1, go ahead and give it a watch, because there's still a lot of Gojo in it, and that's who most people love anyway. Watch the movie 65. I have not regretted having watched a movie that much in a long time.
Wow.
So for those who don't know what 65 is, including myself, enlighten us.
65 was set up as a kind of a basic old school short story sci-fi type movie about a guy who's flying a ship and crashes onto a planet that appears to be prehistoric Earth with dinosaurs and all the goodies. It kind of implies time travel. Spoiler, there's no time travel. And Adam Driver plays the shuttle driver, and then
Now I know what you're talking about. Okay.
yes,
Oh, man,
and then there's a small girl who's featured in the trailer, who's actually, if you watch the Disney show Stuck in the Middle, the youngest sister. It's the same actress as that show. And then, how do they get away from the dinosaur monster things? And, that was kind of basically all the trailer really told you about. It's just bad. It's bad writing. It's the effects are decent, actually. For the most part, the effects are fine.
So you're
but
saying it's better than The Flash?
Well, I haven't seen The Flash, so I can't specifically say. But
okay.
from what I've seen of the effects in The Flash, yes, the effects in this movie are better than the effects in The Flash at a minimum. So but I mean, it's just it doesn't work. I mean, if this movie had come out in 1991, it would probably be a great summer hit popcorn movie. No, not anymore. It didn't work. There was just.
So what would you give it out of
didn't
10 then?
Well, I enjoyed Secret Invasion more, so 4.
Wow. Okay. All right.
I mean, it's not that movie we watched for the jacket trumping of Keystone event. But,
If you're not sure what he's talking about, that was the sequel made 3 years ago to Manos: The Hands of Fate.
Yeah, which somehow managed to be worse than the original.
It was actually worse than the original somehow.
Which is a trick if you've seen the original. But yeah, so yeah, it was just. I mean, at least it looked professionally done, right? I mean, at least it had a professional polish to it. But there was just so much that didn't make sense, and it was too hard to suspend disbelief and enjoy it. It was just unfortunately bad. I would avoid it unless you just really want to watch a bad old school style sci-fi movie. Because it was like it was trying to do like the old sci-fi short story thing, but it didn't. Okay, so wow, this is taking longer than I thought. Final Fantasy 16, I am still nowhere near as far in that game as I need to be. Mitchell's already finished it and halfway through it a second time. I haven't even gotten to the halfway point yet, but I do love it. It looks great. It plays great. It's that the story is amazing. I love it. I just need to find more time to play it. We've done a little bit of Fortnite here and there. I think I had reported previously that my daughter and I this summer had finished Lego Marvel Superheroes 1. And we got that done early enough. We decided, what the heck, let's see if we can get 2 in a summer. And so we started Lego Marvel Avengers, which for the most part is better. It does contain the first 2 Avenger movies as the main levels. I'm going to guess that separate teams made the first movie from the second movie, because the levels for the second movie are much tighter than the levels for the first movie. So I'm guessing it was 2 separate teams, and apparently the A team got Age of Ultron and the B team got Avengers. But overall, it's very similar to Marvel Superheroes. It's a lot of the reused resources, like the Manhattan's the same, almost identical, same setup. But they fixed the flight controls, thank God. And then it's just a little tighter experience. I think it's overall smaller in scope than Marvel Superheroes was, so we're carving through it pretty quick. I think we're at like 65% complete. I mean, we're done with all the story, we're done with all the levels, we're just getting stuff now. We're 100%ing it at this point. And they fixed it so both player 1 and player 2 can get the trophies, which was broken in Lego Marvel Superheroes, so that's good. And then I've been spending an unusual amount of time playing a game called Microsoft Treasure Hunt, which is like a weird twist on Minesweeper. Yeah, it's in the thing so it's a part of Game Pass. It's in the same suite with the all the solitaire games. So if you get the Microsoft Solitaire suite thing, it's one of the games in there, and it's just it's oddly compelling for me.
Dave, are you hearing this cry for help? This plea for help? I think he's finally broken.
I'm a little bit impressed. That's just like when you look at your backlog and you're just like,
let's play Minesweeper.
Yeah.
Well, it's one of those times where there's not enough time to do anything else other than play either rounds. I downloaded it to play rounds of solitaire, since Windows doesn't include solitaire anymore, and so it's just you got like 10 minutes. You didn't want to burn it doing something, and just play a couple rounds of solitaire.
But didn't you just say that you spent an unusual amount of time playing it?
Okay, look,
an unusual amount of time. Yes, it's more. I mean, it's not the time where I would have sat down and played 16 instead. So it's not like it's replaced 16 or something, but it has replaced like time where I would have been reading or doing comics.
Look, I just realized I can't say anything, because one of the games that I played was on my Retroid Pocket 3, which can run up to, like, at least it does like PlayStation 1 games really well. I believe it even runs like up to PlayStation 2 games. But I was playing Shanghai, but the version of it was the Neo Geo Pocket Color version.
The best version.
Maybe? I don't know. I mean, it's what I was doing. So, as much as I want to make fun of him for this, I'm pretty sure I have zero ground to even attempt it.
Well, that was it. I did want to talk about the site that I'm using as my comic store replacement quick, but at this point I think I took way longer with the other stuff than I thought I was going to, so we'll jar it, and if we need to fill some time at the end, I can bring that back up. Otherwise I'll talk about it later.
Okay. Dave, how about you?
Yeah. Hey, Zelda. Still playing a lot of Zelda. I took a little break this week from it just because, kind of had like a busy week trying to do other stuff. But I still have like 50 shrines to go that I'm looking for. Still finding all the poops. Because you have to find a lot of poops because you have to build out your pockets, for shields and weapons and stuff like that. So you need a lot of the little poops. So I'm finding a lot of the little poops.
I'm now terrified to play Zelda.
What? This is not new. This was in the last one.
I mean, I don't remember having to fill shield pockets full of poop for anything.
No. You get the poop for the shield pockets.
Right. We're saying the same thing.
Yeah, remember the Korok seeds?
Clorox, yeah?
Yeah, that's poop. That's Korok poop.
Why would you do this? Why would you purposely try and turn someone off from the game? Especially if they have OCDs. Why would you do that?
Yeah, I'm not trying to. That's just a feature of the game. It's awesome. You get the guy with the maracas when he takes your poop, and then you can hold more swords. I don't see what the problem is. Can we move on?
Yep.
It seems that you're trying to harsh my buzz.
I'm so not.
They're not officially poop, but if you look at the little icon for them in the game, it's a little poop.
No, there's distinct clues in the game that it's poop.
There are, but officially they're seeds.
It says in the description they smell.
Well, yeah, a lot of things in nature smell.
Okay, that's fair. Doing a whole ton of side quests. I'm definitely going above and beyond on like finding side quests and everything like that. I'm just doing a ton of exploring. I technically could finish the game now. Like I'm at the point where I can go and I got all the main stuff kind of out of the way. Except the Master Sword, I didn't get that yet. Now that I think about it, but I'm sure I'm real close to it. But it's a tremendous game. It's just huge. It's awesome.
So are you using amiibos for this?
Oh yeah. I use them when I need to.
Oh, and you don't get a Master Sword from the amiibos?
No. The Master Sword's a quest.
Okay.
You get some other fun things from the amiibo, but yeah. The Master Sword is a quest. So I'm also playing. I'm replaying Broforce because they're about to do an update on that called Broforce Forever, where they're throwing in some more bros and stuff. And that is just a great palette. Are you laughing at me on that one, Matt? You were playing.
No, I'm not. I'm laughing at the name.
Well, what do you mean? You played it with us.
I know. I have played it. It's still the game is still just goofy. It amuses me.
It's hilarious. It is so great. But there's like, I think there's like they added some new ones in since I last played it and everything like that. That I didn't realize there was an update. But there's all kinds of just like fun stuff in it. But they're adding some new ones in, adding some new features, and that'll be like the send off to the game. It's going to be called like Broforce Forever or something. I don't know if it's a free update or DLC or whatever. I have no idea. But I'm looking forward to that. So I was kind of like replaying. I was replaying that. Two of the best Game Boy Zelda games dropped on the Nintendo Online store, on the Nintendo Online thing you get when you have access to the Game Boy stuff. Oracle of Ages and Seasons. Those two games, they were like the Capcom Nintendo produced Zelda games. So I'm actually replaying those as well at the moment, because it's just, I mean, who doesn't love an old school Zelda game? And they are really good. I think a lot of people may have like kind of missed them when they came out for some reason. But
They were late Game Boy Color.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they were definitely late Game Boy Color. So yeah, I think people may have, you know, just kind of like slept on it or missed it or whatever. Definitely check them out if you've never played them before, because they're awesome.
And I think they're in the new timeline. They're aligned between The Legend of Zelda and Zelda 2, aren't they? They're that Link, the
I believe
original
so.
Link.
Yeah. At least that's the idea that I heard.
Yeah.
Who knows if that's right? Because I don't pretend to understand that lore at all. that timeline is
Gets
all over
messy
the place.
fast.
Yeah, and I don't care. They're fun games. I don't need everything to make sense. Just give me a good time. You know, I'm easy. What else was there? Playing stuff on my Evercade. There was a like a Team 17 Amiga edition was released, so there was like some fun stuff on there. You know, playing like old Amiga games. Also, there was I was going back and playing like the Commodore 64 ones. I like playing those. So let's switch to reading. I got a new Kindle. I upgraded my Kindle. My Kindle was like 10 years old, and like I noticed the battery was starting to go a little bit. And like I saw the new ones on the Prime Day. You know, they had a sale, and I saw there was a feature on the new ones where they do a warm light, and the lighting is better on them. So at night it goes to like a warm light instead of like the bright, you know, light. And even the bright, you know, the white light was fine on them, because it was just like you can dim it a little bit, and it wasn't like, you know, active LED light shining in your face. You know, it was like the, what do they call that? The overlay light or whatever. What's the front lit? Is that what it is?
Backlit?
Something? I don't know.
Edgelit, I think, actually, but
Edgelit. Yeah, I think that's it. Whatever the case, it was still easy on the eyes, but it was just like, you know, I was like, ooh, that seems nice, you know. And so I upgraded that on one of the Prime Day sales. And I will say the warm light at night when you're, because I do most of my reading like in bed, like right before I go to sleep, and that's kind of like the way I calm down, you know, and relax at night. And I'll say that the warm light feature is well worth it if you're someone that just reads a lot at night, you know, in the dark, you know, kind of thing. I read through the 3 books of the 3 Body Problem recently, which is going to be a Netflix series. I think at the end of the year it drops. Is that when it is? Does anybody know?
Sounds right, but I can fact check that quick.
I have no idea how they're going to squeeze all this into a TV series. It's it can be very heady. It's definitely you know, very big into the sci part of the sci-fi. Very cool series though, very different. Like I said, they lean heavy in the science, which is cool. Sociology, philosophy, that kind of stuff. Like it goes places, and it's really neat how they do it, especially across the 3 books. Like they definitely take some twists and turns, and just like, you know, how the stories, you know, go and everything like that. Definitely worth checking out. I'm very curious how they're going to convert it to a TV series. If they pull it off, it'll be great. If not, it should just be mildly interesting at least. But I would definitely recommend the books.
Jan 2024, by the way.
Oh, okay. So beginning of the year. So there's that. TV shows. My wife and I, we binged Walking Dead, the whole series. We finally got through that this week, and we got to like around season 8 before, and we kind of like noped out. But then, like, no, instead of just picking up from there, we're just like, let's just rewatch the whole thing. And, you know, we did. And there was like, binging it was way better because there were some rough spots toward the end there. and you're able to just like fly past it without having to wait week to week. Overall, it ended well. It was kind of cool. And now they're doing the spin-off series, which is kind of the other reason why we wanted to watch them, because we were curious about these spin-off series where a couple of characters are getting a show, then another character's getting a show, and then another character's getting a show. And they're like limited series apparently that they're doing. So we'll be catching up on those eventually.
Are you picking up on Fear too, or Fear the Walking Dead, or are you gonna leave that one alone?
Don't know. I heard mixed things about that, and I heard it got better.
I watched like 3 episodes, and I'm like, no. So yeah,
I mean, isn't the second subtitle of the new character portraits, The Walking Dead? We have to find a way to extend this out to keep making money.
Something like that. Yeah,
That's what I thought.
it's yeah, but it's I mean, I'm curious. Not curious enough to watch all of Fear, unless I really hear something about like the end of that is worth it or something. But at that show, like the first season was definitely rough. I remember watching. I think I got like 3/4 of the way through it, and I gave up. Almost Done the Bear season 2, which is just a phenomenal show. That if you never watched that, it's awesome. And movies, I took my son to see the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie, which, if you haven't seen it and you like the Turtles in any way, shape, or form, go see it. It's fantastic. That movie was fun. The animation was fantastic. Soundtrack was phenomenal. The score, even better. Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross did the score. There's great songs used in the movie. They used my favorite De La Soul song in there, which is awesome. There's God, what else is in there? It's just, I mean, they really captured it, because they're actual teenagers in it, so they really captured that well, for that. They just did a really great job on it overall.
What would you give it out of 10?
9.5. I mean, it was a lot of fun. My son loved it. Everything was great about it. Music was great. Action was great. It was funny, heartwarming at points. Everybody did a great job. Yeah, it's definitely one to check out if you're a Turtles fan in any way, shape, or form. I've loved the Turtles since the first comics came out. So I've been like a long time fan of them. And I think this is, getting them back on the right track for sure. This was I think going to get a lot of people into it.
Every time I see one of the trailers or something, I get put off by it because Donnie's my favorite turtle, and everything about his design I hate.
I think you'll overcome it pretty quickly.
Yeah,
probably, but it's just initially just okay. Yes, granted, the smart guy's got freaking giant rimmed glasses. Okay, can we get over this stereotype, please? Just turtle doesn't need damn glasses. I don't know. That just drives me nuts. I don't know why, but it's just.
I will say the biggest surprise to me was the Barbie Turtles crossover promotion that happened before the Barbie movie, in which they were in the sewer, quote unquote, on patrol with a periscope up through the sewer grate, and they were watching all the Barbies and checking out their houses. Like, who can afford to live this way? Do these people ever work? It was very good. It's very humorous.
Is this okay? This started out as a bit. Are you actually being serious?
No, I'm being 100% serious.
Okay, this led up like it was a bit. So I was like, okay, this is
this was actually it was a cross promotional trailer that ran before Barbie, and it was. I mean, it didn't use any of the actors or actresses. It used actual Barbies, but it was still pretty hilarious because they're going like. How do people live like this? How can they afford to, I mean, do they ever work? And then they said, well, crime fighting stuff, but at least we can always afford pizza. And then they had a scared pizza guy there who had done the delivery.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. Cool.
Who was obviously a Ken figure dressed up as a
right.
Nice.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're good.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, that was not a bit. That was a real thing I saw.
I was waiting for the Oppenheimer reference to come, and it never dropped.
No.
Is he serious?
Yeah, no, 100% serious about it. I watched, started a new show called Gordon Ramsay's Food Stars.
What's that?
So basically, it takes different people who have very promising startups, whether it's a family-owned startup or it's something they're doing something exciting in food right now, and he's bringing them all together for a reality competition. He's going to invest $250,000 in whoever the winner is at the end of the season. And so episode 1 was about these people breaking into groups and creating the most appealing menu and selling all day on a beach with a food truck. And what I like about this one is if you go back and you watch Kitchen Nightmares and you watch the American Kitchen Nightmares and then you follow it up with the British Kitchen Nightmares, I have always been more interested in Gordon's business acumen than I am about the drama. And this is still drama TV, but however, it focuses a lot on the business side. And so it's much more interesting to me than the current Kitchen Nightmares is canceled, but you know what I'm saying. It's like that's way more interesting than some of the other shows that have come out recently. I do like Next Level Chef, and we're finally all caught up on that. And season 2 was really good. We also started MasterChef season 10, which is pitting different regions against each other. So there's basically, I think, 5 people on a team from 5 people on a team from 4 regions, and that they'll face off to become the next MasterChef. And Strange New Worlds. I think the only thing I have left to say about that one is I have come to the conclusion, and this might still be me super wishing for it, but again, I have this conspiracy theory that the company that produces all the Paramount stuff for Star Trek is the company that did all the Kelvin movies only. And so I'm pretty sure that this is a different timeline than the original one. I think I had argued for a long time that Discovery was very obviously a different timeline, but there's enough small things that only the really hardcore fan would even kind of notice. They have rewritten either that or they've retconned a bunch of stuff right in front of our faces, which I don't think is the case. I think this might actually be a very parallel but still different timeline. And that's made me actually relax on the show a little bit, I guess is the best way to say that. Because that's what I think I will say, though, that the cast, I absolutely love this cast. I didn't think I was going to like Uhura as much as I do now, but the musical episode did something to pay tribute to Uhura that I had never kind of thought about, and it was a really smart decision. And so anyways, it's very good. If you're not watching Strange New Worlds, I fully feel this is the only one besides Lower Decks, which I'm not in love with, but it does kind of showcase, poke fun at, and bring to light all the inconsistencies that are Trek in a loving way. I'm not in love with it, but man, that crossover episode, just amazing. Chef's kiss. And I really feel that this is like the best Trek we've gotten out of any of these things. And I can't specify what, especially if you're not caught up, but it does really lead me to believe that we may still have a shot at getting that Star Trek Temporal Patrol show, which has always been the one I've always wanted from them. So we'll see. We've also finished the Great British Baking Show, catching up on 2021 and 2022 seasons. And I love that show for all the things that American television is not. Everybody actually helps each other. consoles each other, cheers each other on. It may be a competition, but they're all there to do it in a human way instead of a drama way. And I very much appreciate that. I did see Barbie. I went in with extremely low expectations. I think that Barbie may be in my top 10 movies of all time.
Nice.
It's
I've heard good things. I want to get out and say it, but it's like it's tough right now.
I really feel like, how do I say this? Some people are representing parts of the movie as political, when instead I just think they're obvious truths that if you ever use your eyes to look at our society, you see the things that they're actually poking at and poking fun of.
I know the things where people are trying to make it, political, and it's just like, if you're making that political, that's just bad. It's just,
I think
you're just treating people wrong. That's all.
The weirdest thing from the movie is that it portrays its own executive team as bumbling fools. Mattel's team, and it's like okay, but why did we have to do it that way? But at the same time, I love this movie. It's really, really good, and it's funny, and it's actually very dark at times. It's also very introspective, and I think it's probably like, I don't know how else to say it. It's like the best product to movie conversion I think I've ever seen. Because it not only takes in all the good things about it, it takes in all the bad things about it and tries to at least explain the reasoning, I think, behind them and behind why they did what they did. And I really, really, really liked it. The cast was phenomenal. The acting was great. It went a direction that I did not see it going, which I thought was hilarious. And yeah, it's very interesting. I mean, I would give it a 10. It was not a perfect movie, but man, they're just like the success at which they got, the range of emotions, and really got you thinking during the movie. It was kind of, I mean, it was really weird from like a putting together of a movie standpoint, because you had one section that was like incredibly dark, followed by a slapstick section, followed by as some people would say, a woke moment, or a moment where people are like thinking about how they could change who they are. And then it's followed by another. It's a really weird way to put the movie together, but it didn't seem discoherent, if that made sense. It was just odd. In retrospect, it was odd pacing choices, but at the same time, when I was watching it, I didn't notice any of that. It wasn't until I started thinking about it later. But I followed that up by walking out of Barbie and directly into Oppenheimer, which, by the way, if you're going to do that double feature, do it the other way.
I was ready to say, why did you do it that way?
I did it that way because of the times. And when I could, otherwise I wasn't going to be able to do the double feature that day. So, Oppenheimer is also not a perfect movie, but I also give it a 10. I don't think I've ever sat through a 3-hour movie that felt like it was 10 minutes. And I think for me, the there's a majority of it. Do you know how like you see a plane on the distance and you hear the whir of the jets like slightly, and the closer it comes, the louder it gets, and you start anticipating that moment where it's gonna pass where you are, and you'll hear the maximum. That noise is under the entire movie, and it's not actually under the movie, but the way that they do the pacing, it's like it's constantly building and building and building and building and building, and you think the movie at one point is done, and it gives you a breath, and then it just keeps going and going and going and going. It's crazy. I've never seen it. I really feel like this might be like the undercurrent of how the movie is put together is a bite my thumb at things like TikTok and things of that nature. Or even how modern storytelling has to be formulaic, because this movie actually cuts between several different time periods, but each one is building at the same time to the crescendo of the atomic bomb. And some of them happen after the atomic bomb, but it's still like it's all building to the end of the movie. And it's crazy how good it is. The guy that plays Oppenheimer is amazing. Matt asked a really weird question that I was flabbergasted by and stumped by, because I apparently missed all of the controversy. There's like maybe 20 to 30 seconds worth of sex in the entire movie. And he asked me if there was like a 10-minute sex scene. I'm like, what? No. No, it's really like, no, there's nothing like that. Would I take my kids to go see Oppenheimer? Probably not. For the same reasons that I knew Barbie was going to be a good movie. This is in the trailer. As soon as you said, do you guys ever think about death? Is that a conversation you want to have with your child? Because that's the conversation you're going to be having coming out of Oppenheimer, going, what does nuclear war mean, Dad? I don't think that's the conversation anybody wants to bring their kid to have that conversation, or a movie that anybody wants to go to. It's really good. You should really watch it. The acting is phenomenal. It feels like a period piece, even though it never goes like shtick. It's never pulp or camp or anything like that. And the guy that plays Oppenheimer, I mean, literally was born to play Oppenheimer, which I wouldn't say about many people. Very, very good. I can't recommend it enough. I finally got around to watching Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Oh, nice.
7 out of 10. Like, I thought it was good. Thought it was okay. No, better than okay. It was good. But whatever the magic was that everybody else caught off of it, I never caught. It was an enjoyable show. I just didn't think it was like a 10 movie or anything like that. I watched Downton Abbey, the 2019 movie. Gave it a 7 out of 10. If you like Downton Abbey, you're going to like the movie. If you don't know what Downton Abbey is, don't watch the movie, because you'll have no flipping idea what the hell's going on. Then I followed that up with Downton Abbey: A New Generation, which is the 2021 movie. I gave it a 7 out of 10. If you like Downton Abbey, you're going to like this movie. If you don't know what Downton Abbey is, don't watch this movie. You will really have no idea what's happening at any point in time. I also watched a documentary on HBO Max called Glitch: The Rise and Fall of HQ Trivia. I don't know if you guys played HQ Trivia, but it was huge when I was living in San Francisco.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah,
I remember it blowing up. I never played it.
Yeah. All businesses in San Francisco literally shut down at 3 p.m. to play 15 minutes of HQ Trivia every single day. And Scott, the host, was like a minor celebrity. Really, really interesting documentary. The history behind it was a lot darker than I thought it was. And it was very interesting to watch. So, yeah, definitely check that out if you get a chance to. I also gave that a 7 out of 10. I watched a lot of YouTube. Lexi had her premiere summer subathon on our Twitch channel, which is the first time she's ever really been on the stream. She had a lot of fun with it. The chat had a lot of fun with it. I've seen Battleship Still Better Than 65. Nice. We watched AEW Forbidden Door, ROH Death Before Dishonor, and lots of AEW wrestling. We are now doing, my schedule is now, we're doing watch-alongs of Dynamite on Wednesdays for 2 hours, Rampage for an hour on Saturdays, and then Collision for 2 hours on Sundays. So that is now 5 hours of wrestling programming on the channel. I never thought in my wildest dreams that we would be doing 5 hours. My wife loves wrestling. And I'm here for it. So
Yeah, I'm really shocked at how my wife has taken to it. But she's like got the business down.
yeah,
Like, I mean, you know, she looks at stuff and everything like that, and she'll go like digging up like old stuff on people. I'm like, oh, okay, so you know they did this, and I think, well, why would they do it? You know, this way. She comes up with like, she goes, well, shouldn't they do this? And I'm like, yeah, yes, you got it.
Yep. Yeah, Lexi is actually pretty good. She's a kayfabe fan. She knows it's predetermined, but she lives in her kayfabe world, and she picks her predictions when we do predictions based on what she feels she wants to happen. And she knows that gets her out of the running most of the time. But at the same time, I can't like squash her dreams. I love her so much. She is the best wrestling fan to watch with, because she will howl at the bad guys and she will cheer the good guys. And when something dramatic happens, she is all for it. And she looks at me no less than 16 times during a 2-hour stream going like, did you see that? And I'm like, yes. She loves Vikingo. Oh my God, she loves Vikingo.
Oh yeah. That's he's
I feel that I don't know.
He added a spin.
Yeah, a tornado to the Hurricane Rana, and I'm like, what? How do you even?
It was a full.
Yeah,
it was a full spin.
How do you do that?
And like, I was just like, wait a minute.
I don't understand. Listen, I'm glad that 2023 wrestling is this amalgamation of all the different companies, but I do not understand what AAA is getting in any way, shape, or form out of AEW, since every time an opportunity comes up, their wrestlers sign with AEW.
I mean,
it's only a matter of time till Vikingo is AEW. That's all I'm saying. You mark these words.
But they get Kenny Omega to, you know, lose a AAA match to Vikingo. I mean, that.
Yeah, but he's not going to have to when Vikingo's here. That's my point. But yeah, and you know, with Wembley coming up in 23 days, and followed by a pay-per-view a week later, so two pay-per-views in 2 weeks. By the way, if anyone wants to watch All In, that's happening at Wembley Stadium, we will be starting our stream on Sunday, the 27th at 8:45 a.m. Pacific time, because that's when the pre-show starts at 9, which for you, Dave, would be noon on Sunday.
Oh, yeah, I guess that makes sense that it would be like that,
because they're 6 hours ahead of us.
Yeah. I mean, I'm looking forward to it.
I hope you can join us eventually someday. Bring Carrie. It's never going to happen, is it?
Probably not.
Yeah, that's what I thought. All right. Well, what did I play?
It's kind of funny because I did talk to her about like because like she kind of, when she got into it, like her favorites were like MJF, because like, you know, she just thinks he's hilarious, and CM Punk. You know, she was really, you know, liking CM Punk, and so with the, you know, kind of stuff that's going on right now where he's like kind of in between, and I was just like, if he goes full bad guy, you know, you're going to be okay with that. And she's like, oh hell yeah. So she's good with the whole, like, you know, liking heels and stuff like that. Like, she has no problem with it, which is just hilarious. But it works for me because, you know, I tend to like the bad guys more anyway.
Yeah. Stuff I played: Star Trek Online. I wish I could find a permanent day in the schedule for this, but there are not enough days in the week. Dungeons and Dragons, Diablo 4, A lot of us have fallen off of playing Diablo 4 very quickly. There are things that they have done that are bad, and they are working on trying to reverse them, but a lot of people don't like it, and I don't know how I feel. I am still playing it occasionally, but now that Baldur's Gate 3 is here, let's be honest, everything else is going to go to the side, but that's okay. Been playing Honkai Star Rail, still enjoying it, but there is a resource bottleneck that you eventually hit, that unless you want to grind every day, which means that I can only play the game for like 15 to 20 minutes a day, I do not find that enjoyable. So I've kind of eased off on that one a little bit too. Started a new game called Farlight 84. It is free on Steam. It is a cross between Apex and Fortnite with Overwatch character selection, meaning you can only have one of each character on a team. It's a little slower than Fortnite, and it was apparently a mobile game that they then ported to PC. And when you play on PC, you are also playing with mobile players, which means it is so easy to murder a bunch of people. It's so much fun. Because we're using, I'm using a controller, and other people are using keyboard and mice, and the mobile people are using touch controls. It's so good. Anyways, it's a lot of fun for your ego, but that's not the main reason that I would recommend it. It's the movement stuff is a little slower than Fortnite, but it does have some unique movement options, namely like a rocket boost into the air, and then you can rocket forward 2 times. You don't have to do them in that order, so people have come up with really interesting ways to try and move around to stop from being shot. Usually those involve of jumping up and then dashing to the side, and then I wait for them to fall out of the sky and headshot them. It's still a lot of fun. I recommend it. But the other thing is they have Transformers, and I don't want to say like Autobots, Decepticon Transformers. They have vehicles in the game that usually transform from a vehicle mode to a firing mode, and they're really good and really fun. It really adds a lot to the game. And it has a unique crafting-ish system. I don't want to say crafting because you're not building new things out of parts. You're just upgrading your shields and then eventually your gun levels and stuff the longer you survive. And for your shields, there are places on the map where you can collect more shield, like for example, to go from level 1 shield to level 2 shields, you need 5 shield fragments, and if you pick up those, then you can go from green to blue, etc., and the number goes higher as you go. And that's something that you're also searching for in game. So it's not like there's ever really like a ton of downtime, which you can find in a lot of BRs. It's one of those things where you're constantly either looking for new weapons, or you're looking for upgraded parts for your weapons, like scopes, or you're looking for shield fragments. And so that kind of makes it less of a lull when you're not murdering someone or somebody's trying to murder you. And each
kind of like what Fortnite did for those couple of seasons, where to get the next evolution of the weapon you had to collect a thing. Right. And the interesting thing is that each character is actually different and has different powers. So even though there's like 5 characters in the support class, I'm doing air quotes that you guys can't see, each one of their powers is vastly different. Like one calls in an airdrop, another one heals everyone on the team if they're close, and restores their shield. Another one lets you see any enemy bad guys in the area. And so people kind of get fixated on which characters they want to grow and develop. And it's actually, like I said, it's really a lot of fun. I give it an 8 out of 10. It's still kind of early on the PC side. I think this is their 2nd season, and it just started the new season. I think it's their 2nd season on PC, and they're in, I think, season 11. So they've had 9 seasons of this on phone and are now just getting it into the PC. So it's kind of interesting. It is completely free to play. They even have drops for just playing,
and stuff. But if you want to support them, they have the battle pass system and all that good stuff where you can buy the battle pass and get cosmetics and all that good stuff. That's Farley 84. Street Fighter 6, played that as well. I give it an 8 out of 10. I'm really playing it for the RPG side, and chat made a hellish nightmare of a character for me. So that's usually fun. Played Station to Station, which was one of the not E3 games. I expected it to be a cozy RPG from the trailers and the talk that they had during not E3. What I got was an intense puzzle game that was actually really difficult. I'm not saying that I am above average intelligence, but I do grok video games usually on their first go. The third level of the demo, I had to replay 3 times because I wasn't getting what they wanted me to do.
That's always fun.
Yeah. But overall, it was good. I'd give it a 7 out of 10. Just not what I was wishing for, I guess, is the best way to say that. AEW Fight Forever came out on PCs and consoles. Our reviews on YouTube, 8.5 out of 10. We played Snow Crashers, which is another not E3 demo that had multiplayer. It was skiing with animals. 6 out of 10. It was okay. It needed some work, though. Psychroma was an 8-bit 2D horror point-and-click cyberpunk adventure. That's right up Dave's alley. I gave it a 7.5 out of 10 for the demo. It was good. Played the WrestleQuest demo, which was very meaty. Gave that an 8 out of 10. That comes out August 7th, by the way. Viewfinder launched, which was one of the not E3 games. We played it for a stream. I very much enjoyed it. I'm giving it a 7 out of 10. And then Baldur's Gate 3 launched yesterday. As a reviewer, it's too early for me to say what the score on the game is. As a fangirl in my heart, it's 10 out of 10. It is the best thing since sliced bread. I'm really basically, at this point, I'm still in what I played in early access. So I am starting it at a 10 and looking for reasons to take points off, if that makes sense. Did you guys freeze?
No.
Oh, okay. Nobody was saying anything or moving.
We're respecting your...
No, I appreciate that. I was just making sure because you guys had like not moved or blinked or anything, so I was a little worried that it had frozen for a second.
Like, dude, I'm not going to interrupt you.
We played 12 hours on stream yesterday, and I played something like 15 or 16 hours total. It's the changes that they've made compared to early access are already really good. Any game that I can sneak up behind someone and then push them off a roof to their death is an instant, like, this wins for me. And you can do that so often. More often than you would think. Dave, do you like CRPGs?
Depends. Yeah, it depends. I mean, I don't have a lot of, like, I don't gravitate toward that now just because of timing issues. I tend to, like, stay away from them because I like games that are smaller, like Zelda.
Right.
I don't know. For some reason, I just, like, I know they're a definite more investment, you know, of time and stuff, so I tend to shy away from them right now. But I don't mind them.
I am flabbergasted with the number of things that they've put into this game, and that's before mods. You're looking at 12 classes, 46 subclasses, all available, you know, pretty much at the beginning of the game. And it's like, I mean, even problems people have had with D&D, they've fixed. Like, for example, you get a +2 and a +1, generally depending on the race you pick, that goes in certain stats. They've unlocked that so that you don't have to abide by that. If you're a gnome and you want your +2 to be in Dex and your +1 to be in Charisma, you can completely do that. And it's not going to make you do it that way. You get to choose it. And it's kind of crazy. and it's we played 4-player for about from 10:30 to 6 p.m. last night. How many hours is that? That'd be 6, 7, 8-ish, 7.5, 8. There was not a point at any point, and we had a wide array of people who've played games like this before, ranging from me to Daniel, who'd played early access quite a few times and run through Act 1 a lot, to somebody who'd never played a game like this. And there was not once where anybody said, this is boring, or I don't know what I want to do now, or anything of that sort. It was like the time zipped by. And I think everybody had a great time with it. And then once those people petered out, I had more people come on from the community that was like, hey, do you want us to play with you? And I'm like, yeah, I do. And then we made new characters and started over again. I think this game has a huge potential to be my most played game of all time. Divinity was 1,500.
Considering how much you played Divinity OS2, that's a statement.
Yeah, 1,500 hours on Divinity Original Sin 2.
Oh, okay,
And-
you win.
So I'm thinking that this will probably surpass it by far and away. Many hours over. I love D&D. I love the storytelling of D&D, and this the Twitch integration is probably one of my favorite parts, because not only can you make it so that chat gets a vote to vote on what your path forward is, and all their votes count. You can also make it, or when you use the extension, no one has to ask you what your equipment is, because they can actually click on the screen and go through your inventory and see everything, which is kind of nuts. So, I really like the game. It's too early because it's only been out for 24 hours. On deck, the Expanse Telltale game came out. Haven't gotten to buy it yet.
Yeah. Neither. Yeah, I saw that dropped.
The Star Trek Telltale game, I own it. Haven't gotten to play it yet. Stray Gods, which is the musical. Huh?
They didn't spread that out a little bit. They dropped like 2.
It's not one of them is Telltale. The other one isn't. It's a Telltale style, but it's not.
Oh, okay.
No,
I thought.
I thought it was Telltale.
No.
Are you sure?
7.9% sure. I will validate. Give me a minute.
Because I'm pretty sure it's Telltale. That was one of the reasons I was excited about it.
Give me a minute. I will check.
That
Okay.
does seem odd that they would drop Expanse and Star Trek.
Oh no, they didn't. They dropped them like a month and a half apart.
Oh, okay.
Star Trek came out
Okay.
like end of June, like June 27th, and then Expanse. Actually, I guess it's only half a month apart. It came out July, or a month apart, July 20th, 3 weeks apart, something like that.
It's at least a month. I'll, reserve judgment.
Yeah. No. It's something called Brunner House LLC
Huh?
for the Star Trek one.
For some
Created by Dramatic Labs, collaboration of 20 plus former Telltale writers, developers, and designers.
Oh, okay.
So
All right.
Dramatic Labs is developer, published by
Brunner House.
Brunner House LLC,
Yes.
and their former Telltale devs.
Okay, that to me is Telltale. But I get it. It's not the official name Telltale.
Technically, it's
Yeah.
The Expanse is Telltale's
The Expanse is,
return
Telltale's
to
return.
form.
Yep. Which we don't know. I mean, I would assume that's not the same Telltale, to be honest. But
Oh no, it's not.
Who knows?
But it's
yeah.
the brand, right? Yeah.
Stray Gods, the musical RPG, comes out next week, I think.
Seriously, that's
Yeah, it was supposed to come out on the 3rd, and then they moved it because they didn't want to compete with Baldur's Gate.
Yeah. Well, that's smart.
And then
Anytime this year, you're still competing with Baldur's
I
Gate. But,
I know. Next month, Starfield.
Yeah, and I don't think I'm going to get to it. I don't think I'm going to get there.
I'll
I will get to it eventually, but I don't.
I'll see, because it's not an on-stream play for me, right? Because it's single player.
Right.
So there's no reason for me to get it when it comes out at launch, other than I want to get it and play some of it and see how bad the bugs are.
Yeah, do you feel it's going to be like another Cyberpunk where...
I don't think it's going to be a Cyberpunk. I think it's going to be a Skyrim. Because if you remember when Skyrim launched, it had a bajillion issues that took them like a month to patch out and all that stuff. So, I mean, the main reason I'm getting it is in the hopes that, like Skyrim, they will mod multiplayer into Starfield. And Todd Howard's already said they're big about the modding scene and supporting it all and everything. So who knows? I really hope, because that's the only thing the game is missing. And they even have multiplayer-esque scenarios and things in the friggin' game. Why not make it multiplayer? It makes me so mad. You don't have to play multiplayer.
Don't want to have.
Yeah, but you don't have to. It's just like Baldur's Gate, dude. You don't have to go and click multiplayer. You can click play game, and play single player. It just limits the choices.
Most games, if there's a multiplayer mode, it's clearly meant to be played multiplayer. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Most games, not all.
Yeah.
Most.
Well, I think I'm gonna pick it up, but I'll really see where I'm at. I may not pick it up. I just don't know. I don't know. That's it. That's what I got. That was everything, I think.
Well, that leaves us 15 minutes. So what am I talking about?
Well, I mean, I still need to thank everybody, which will take like 5 minutes. There was news today. There was a big thing of news. What was it? Gaming news. Forward progress in Dark and Darker. It looks like they just got a PEGI rating. The American trial, I think, has wrapped at this point, and they're waiting for the verdict, but it looks like it's going to be dismissed with prejudice.
Oh, trial, TRI, as in courtroom trial.
Yes, courtroom trial.
Yeah, okay.
And if you're not familiar with what's going on, Iron Mace Studios made this multiplayer first-person dungeon crawler called Dark and Darker. Came out of left field. Everybody was like, loved it. It has grown astronomically with each alpha test. The lead designer's ex-company sued them, saying that they stole assets from them, and this is in Korea. And Iron Mace put out a statement showing that all the things that they were accused of stealing were public files from the Unreal store that anyone could purchase. And the general consensus or feeling seems to be that Nexon, which is the company that made Maple Story, by the way, and also Dave the Diver, or Dave the Diver or Dave the Fisher? I can't remember. Whatever the new popular game is.
Dave the Diver, and I'm considering a lawsuit.
You should. But yeah, it's basically their
game. I feel like they pulled that game out of like my dreams and made a game out of it, and then stole my life.
And stole your likeness too. Yeah.
You should have written that down and then mailed it to yourself. That's a poor man's copyright, and you would have won millions.
Yeah. Well, live and learn.
Yeah. But anyways, the short form is, it looks like once that court ruling is over, they should be able to be back up on the Steam store. And then we just have to wait for the Korean trial to be over with, but if they can get it back up on the Steam store, then they can do early access, which was their intended plan, which was supposed to be out in May, when it is now August. So we'll see. But it does look like it's good news for them. Also, Once Human, which is a game that we love around these here parts, has denoted that they are going to do another open alpha test but it is not going to be like the others in that it will be up for like 3 months, and they want people to do as much as humanly possible, which means that somebody needs to do work for me. How do you clone yourself? I keep searching it on Google and it's not coming up with much.
It's really difficult, expensive, and you have to have really good air conditioning.
I guess no cloning for me. All right. I don't know how that's going to work, but we'll figure it out. This is the part of the show where we thank all the amazing people who support the show. We do that by thanking them by name. I've got a couple that I need to add to here as well. I'm going to open this so I can pause it as necessary, because I will need to pause it. First, oh man, I hate that. Hold on. There we go. A giant shout out to our bosses of boss producers, Shank the New, Mr. J Nice, Neo Sapien, and the rest of our boss producers that are scrolling across the screen right about now. There we go. Thank you. Oh, we gotta wait till it's clear. Thank you to Mr. J Nice, Axe Thompson, Nomishly, Lexi, Shank the New, Mark Steadmom, Tim Paget, Drogadan, Twisted Ginger 25, Wolf's Gun, Nafam Official, Kokeshi Ken Media, The Lost Harlequin, also known as Phantom Soul TV now, the official Eggroll TV, and 8-Bit and Chill. Thank you to our boss producers, and then thank you to all of our producers on Kick, Twitch, Facebook, YouTube, Mechanics, and Patreon. DMS Creations, before I forget, Ursi38, Peter Cajero, Billy Frog, Dance Commander Amy Becker, Arturo Gonzalez, Bushman, Inuyu Wolf, Jimmy Julius, Mark Johnson, Eric the Amazing Luna, John O'Callahan, June Kuribayashi, John Hewlett, 2 times Academy Award nominee Patrick Tubach, Letty the Yeti, USMG Valorfall, Tracy Fuller, Dave Butler, Michael Sims, Mark Huey, Nick Neville, Kevin Rollins, That Kid Named D, ID Nippleduck, Dark Razored, as well as... You right there, Dave?
I love that Nippleduck name.
Unfortunately, he passed away. So
I know, I still love it.
Yeah, I keep him on the list specifically for that. Trial Access, Rushmonk 2, Bearden, aka Dead Rabbits, the Bakery Crew Ken, Strong Bad Merc, Ghost Zero, Scotty's on Fiery, Rusty Haggish, No Novocaine, Dave 934, Jimmy Julius, TJ Leclerc 1, Meep the Bunny, That Shaky Dragon, Fammy Bloom, Mafia 6869, Hey Matman, Slow Bake, AK Yuri, Bushwa, Jag Leisure, Sleep Deprived, DMDM Studio, Habitual Kiwi, Bigman Rosa, You Are CEO, Chocobo Butt, The Golden Hash Brown, Straw BE, Sir Ironblood, as well as... Oh, gotta get it when it's clear. There, Jersey the King, Luigi Cat Woodhouse, Band Reaper 97, Kato.jpg, Ciunido TTV, Nautico Love 123, Bosch 721, The Tunics, Awesome Gen, Prophet Profanity, Evelyn03, Habitual Kiwi, Chupa Thingy 7163, G-Boys, Ninja Ginger 007, Cryo the Adventurer, Forever Sammy, Nacho Winch, Andy Havoc 666, as well as Rainy Devil as well. Thank you all for your support. We couldn't do what we do without you, and without you guys coming to hang out with us on the regular, which you do every single day, Monday through Sunday. And that profile pic was really handsome. Thank you, Eggroll. I appreciate that. Oh. And that's going to bring us to final thoughts for the evening. Matt, let's start with you.
Should have been prepared for this. I haven't had to do it in a while. I don't know.
Nothing encouraging or exciting coming up?
Well, I mean, my next big game. I mean, there's a lot of games coming out this year, and when you're like me, and it seems like you only get to play about 4 hours of games a week that aren't a mine dungeon crawler Minecraft fusion game, is my next big one, Spider-Man 2. I mean, that's I mean, come on, Spider-Man, right? And Insomniac, and so far 2 out of 2 games have been launched straight into the stratosphere. So the third one is obviously a high expectation on mine. So I'm excited for that one. It's something I'm looking forward to. I'm hoping to get a couple more movies under my belt before they fall out of theaters here yet, but time has just not been my friend of late. So
wait, have you not seen? Oh yeah, you've seen the second Miles movie, right?
Yeah. I saw Across the Spider-Verse.
Okay.
Loved it. But yeah, I saw the Indiana Jones movie, but I haven't seen Barbie, haven't seen Oppenheimer, and there's a couple more movies coming out this year yet still that I want to try to make it out to. So we'll just see where we can go.
Dave, final thoughts?
More of a question to you. So WrestleCrest comes out next week. Hopefully, I don't know. Is the console version coming out next week?
It should be, yeah.
Okay. You think it's a day one buy based on the demo?
Yes.
Okay.
For any wrestling fans, yes.
Yeah. I've been looking for that just because the style of it looked great. The gameplay looked fun. So I was excited to hear you play the demo because I just wanted to get your opinion on that. I know that our opinions drastically vary a lot of times with games, but I have a feeling with this one we'd be in line.
Yeah, it's definitely a love letter to not just one type of wrestling, but all the different genres of wrestling, and it's really, really good. So yeah, I highly recommend it. Thank you, Crodad. Have a wonderful evening, my dude. Appreciate you. Yes, it comes out on the 7th, and it should be on all platforms from my understanding. I will be picking it up as a day one purchase. It probably will not get played till much later, to be honest, because Baldur's Gate 3. But beyond that, yeah, it's something I want to have in my collection for when I can do it. My final thought, if anybody wants to do me a solid, I've been working on a project for the last probably 7 months now. My brother has been stealth launching a t-shirt company, and it finally launched, and it's called backitup.shop. And it's basically a really clever series of apparel items that tell a story. And if you are a storyteller, or you like making conversations, or even telling tall tales, it's good for that. But also, for every item sold, we plant a tree. So it's kind of cool. So check it out. It's backitup.shop. And as far as gaming goes, I'm really looking forward to Stray Gods coming out next week as well. There's just so many good games coming out. It's like it feels like they were saving all the good ones till the pandemic had 100% ended, and now they're pushing them all out the door. And it's like, geez, man, there's so much coming out this year.
It is intimidating.
But we will end the show in the way that we normally do. First, we are going to rate out, so please do stick around for that. I will figure out who in just a second when we're doing our end credits. But do stick around, and we don't have a raid message, so if you would like to just send some love to those people via emotes, that is the best way to do it. But we will end the show, as we always do, with a sage piece of advice to carry you on until the next time we meet. Matt.
Oh, dear.
What do you call a drummer without a girlfriend?
I don't know. What do you call a drummer without a girlfriend?
Homeless.
Not a very good drummer.
Homeless.
Homeless. Oh. That's actually a good one.
Until next time, be excellent to each other, and of course, game on.
Game on.
Have That one was pretty good.